Hello, everyone. Welcome to A Snugpod Cast. I am your host, Never Separate. I am joined with a full crew tonight. We have on screen to your right, my left, we are joined by Gone Crazy Back Soon. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm glad that we're all back together finally in the Snug Pod for this Jubilee, if you will.
Jubilee. Celebrate. Wait, will we get flagged for doing that? I don't know.
Yes.
You're off key enough. I think we're good.
Celebrate.
Okay. I dance to that song
Poor
every
people's
day
ears.
for
I am
like
so sorry.
years. And continuing to the right, we have Sasquatch. How are you today, sir?
Doing good.
Awesome. And the one, the only Gwen the Bard. How are you?
Hello. You totally skipped over me and went to Sasquatch.
What?
Or wait, no, am I actually on the end this time?
You're on the end.
You
this
are on
time.
the end.
Oh my gosh. I'm normally never on the end. This is so weird. But that's how I'm doing.
I am also
Boy,
never
girl,
on the
boy,
end.
Girl. Oh boy.
Yeah.
You know, because I am on the end and I'm never.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So, this week we have started a whole new celebration. The Jester's Festival has wrapped up. Did everyone enjoy that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did we get everything that we hoped and dreamed? I already know what one of us is going to say.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, those style
Never
pages
do
were a
so.
little stingy, weren't they?
Oh, I just meant I
Yeah.
never get time to actually get on during the Jester's Festival. I still have to try to get all of the quests next year. Slowly catching up.
Yeah, I don't think I got very many of those style pages at all. I guess to be fair, I wasn't doing as many of the dailies for that as I have been doing dailies for this event. We'll get to that shortly. Yeah, or I guess we can get to that now. Not much else to talk about with Jester's Festival. We kind of hit that. So we have started the anniversary Jubilee. It's the big do whatever you want event and get stuff for it. So
All you have to do is eat cake for tickets. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
time investment for rewards is next to nothing. Eat a piece of cake, get 3 tickets. And then you can just be done for the day if that's all you wanted.
And it's from the 7th to the 19th. That is a lot of tickets.
Yeah,
It's what, 39 tickets?
39 tickets. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a bunch. So, what have you guys been up to since the event has started?
Eating cake.
Eating cake. Is that all? Just eating some cake?
Riding around on my
well-
new lion.
Oh yeah, yeah. We
Yeah.
got that white lion mount.
What were you
Been
going to say?
doing a
Gwen? I'm sorry.
variety.
Oh,
Been doing-
and doing crafting writs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been doing a variety of things on a variety of characters. I've been doing alchemy writs. I've been doing clothing writs. Been doing blacksmithing writs. All sorts of stuff.
So many writs. Writs just falling out of your pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel you. That's Writ I've been up to too. So, yeah, lots of writs. For those of you who don't know how to optimize event rewards for the Jubilee event, the easiest and quickest and most unfun thing you can do is log into a character, grab all the crafting writs. There's 7 of them. Do them, turn them in, log out, log into another character, grab 7 crafting writs, do them, turn them in, log out. By the time, depending on how many characters you have, in like a half an hour's time, you can have 63 reward boxes. And that's, in my count, I have 9 characters. Did I do my math right on that? 9 and 7? Yeah. So it's super easy to just rack up tons of motifs, crafting materials, just all kinds of stuff. And that has pretty much consumed all my playing time, because by the time I get done going click, 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 click through all those writs, I'm like, I am done.
Yeah.
I've
Pretty
been
much.
doing writs, but I only have one character that I do writs on. I know, gasp.
You told me to.
No, well, okay, I didn't mean it like that, but yeah, I only have one character that does writs. So for me, what I've been doing is I'll log on, I'll do my writs, but then I just pick a random zone that I know has a daily, and I just go and do it like a random daily. So, and I do that around a couple different zones until I get tired of it, and then I leave. But it's been kind of fun because I definitely don't have the achievements from the certain zones, like, do 30 of these dailies, do 20 of these dailies, do, stuff like that.
The Merkmeyer prep quest.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
That's
I actually
150 of that daily, right?
Yeah, it's something ridiculous. I actually realized the other day I went to Markmeyer on my PC account, and I'm like, I'll go down here and do some of the dailies. And like I rolled up into there and realized that neither of the daily people were standing there, and I'm like, oh no. I forgot that I haven't really even begun the quest line in that zone, so I was like, well, not going to do this one. We'll come back later. I have it unlocked on PlayStation, so I did it on my PlayStation account a couple times, but yeah, it's been... I've had pretty good luck with drops in terms of like motif pages and style pages and stuff during the Anniversary Jubilee already, so I have a really bad habit of, even if I get like a really good drop, if my character doesn't know it, I just learn it, because I'm like, maybe I'll get a second one, which I usually don't, but it's okay, because I'm not too crazy about, selling stuff on a trader right now anyway. I'll do it here and there, but I'm not like, super dedicated to doing it at the moment.
Well, it can be, I think it's beneficial to go ahead and learn the ones you don't know anyway. Unless you get one that's just, unless you don't plan on using any of that stuff, I like having the knowledge of all of those just for the, in the event that I'm trying to finally knock out some master writs, there's, a bigger chance that I know how to do them, the more motifs I actually learn, so.
And fashion scrolls.
Well, clearly, because my look has changed.
Or, just
never.
The achievement
that as well.
Exists.
Right.
Yep.
True. We still didn't get to run Shipwright's Regret, though.
Yeah, we need
Really?
to do that. I want that lantern. Did you guys
Me
see the
too.
Undaunted lantern? I need that.
Yes.
Those lanterns
No, I haven't
match
seen
my
it.
lantern collection in here so bad.
It's so cool looking,
Yeah.
Sasquatch. You're gonna want to buy a bunch for your...
So,
yeah.
what we're doing after today's episode, if we're all still wide awake enough.
All right, so episode's over, and I'm just kidding.
I just drank a cup of coffee, so
Me too!
I've got at least 20 minutes in me. So, yeah. We did, however, all of us minus Gwen, because she wasn't available, we ran Black Drake Villa with a random level 45 healer. Is that right?
Oh, how did that go?
Not bad.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, they did fine.
Good.
And they seem to, kind of, be willing to follow along. I'm not sure if it's the first time they've done it or what, but we went through and we did all the secret bosses. We got all of the things, and we got to the end and we collected all the things to do the final boss, and they left.
Oh no!
And so it completely ruined the option of doing that final secret boss. And we kind of talked about, when that happened, we'd like to see some kind of implementation of accounting, something to account for that. If you're in a group, you've done all that, and somebody bails on you, it kind of ruins the time you had invested. Now that person may not have even known. We weren't in group chat with them, but they just may not have even been aware that was a thing. And so if there was some means of accounting for, okay, that person's gone, there's only 3 of you, so you only have to put in X amount of the things to unlock the final boss, because you're kind of forced to have a 4th person. And we did all the way till the end. And so anyway,
Well, and what stunk about that too is I even went to message them, because the great thing on PlayStation is we have like a players met or who you've played with recently, right? And I went to that tab and I went to their page, and there was no option to message them because they had all of their privacy stuff turned up like to the highest setting, which I totally understand that. But it just sucks that there was no way to even contact them, because my first thought was, okay, let me just see if I can message them and say like, hey, there's a secret boss. If you'd like to come back, that's what we were collecting those wisps for, or whatever. So if you want to come back and do the last boss, then you'll get one more drop. But I couldn't even do that because they didn't have a way to contact them at that point.
Right.
Because everything was the privacy settings were so tight. So.
Which, at that point, it probably would have been too late anyway, because if they came back, it probably wouldn't have counted that they had them.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure, it was a good run. I think we only had just a couple of deaths. We were running on normal, but it went pretty smooth for the most part. It didn't take too long to go through with, one random.
The only thing is, I think they think that light attacking the statues moves them because they were not upstairs. When
Oh
we were
yeah.
doing that. So to get to that one, to get the floor to open in that one room, I was like, they're going to come in here again with somebody, and they're going to start light attacking these. Somebody's going to not understand what they're doing. But they'll learn, I guess. Maybe if they ever go in there again.
Oh, that's why they were up those stairs that whole time. I thought I was doing that.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, we've got a couple of things news related to discuss. We're starting at the top of this list here. Is that right?
Yeah.
So Morrowind DLC is now free for all players. That's live now.
It is right now.
Okay.
Yes.
It actually automatically unlocks. So it should automatically be free to you once you log in after they made that announcement.
And
But
if it does not,
yeah.
you can get it in the Crown Store for free.
Yeah.
So there was some confusion in the community, myself included, when they announced this, because I thought, wait, wasn't Morrowind already made free? And going back and looking at some stuff about it, I think what happened, it's been, a good year or so back, they made Morrowind part of the base game. So if you bought the game after that point, if you bought the base game, the base game included Morrowind. But if you already owned the base game prior to that, you did not get it included. Or if you bought like a used copy of the game or whatever, you had to get the edition that had that included as part of it. So because there were a lot of people going, wait a minute, this was already free, this was already a thing, you're making stuff up. But but that's not the case. They just unlocked it for people that weren't, that hadn't bought the new base game version. It gets kind of confusing. There's so many SKUs for this game. Every time a new chapter releases, new SKUs, have to come out, and there's like 3 or 4 different ones each time. But I think
depending upon where you are, it's all different. It's
Right.
all on a sliding bar.
So I think that was the source of some confusion there. So hopefully, that's been kind of addressed and clarified with anybody that still wasn't sure. But if you didn't know, and you're hearing this now you know. Now you're in the know.
Yeah, and the other thing too is I kept trying to figure out, well, this seems kind of random unless they're going to be doing an event or unless something is coming up with this that we don't know about, and I kind of couldn't figure out why. And then I went and actually read the announcement on ElderScrollsOnline.com, and when you actually read the announcement, it tells you that the reason that they gave permanent access to the Vardenfell Stone and storyline and Halls of Fabrication is because the High Isle prologue questline is going to tie into that, I guess, or maybe is going to be partially in that zone. So they basically said, we're going to tell you more about that in the future, but right now everybody needs to have access to this area because that's where a prologue is going to be. So it makes sense that they unlocked it for everybody then, because
Right.
It also makes me wonder what's going to happen for that prologue.
Oh yeah.
And how
Right?
cruddy would it be to be like, hey, here's a prologue, just kidding, not for you, you need to buy this. They can't lock that behind stuff because then people would, be like, well, that's not really very fair.
Right. And the prologues are always free for everybody.
Well, that's because the prologues are normally in base game areas or their own separate random island off in the middle of nowhere. They're they've never actually been in a DLC zone, so this is going to be different.
Right.
Well, and the other thing that I find pretty different is Vardenfell is not where they said, like, it's on the opposite side of the map, right?
Yeah.
There's a ton of Bretons in Vardenfell, okay?
Well,
I don't know what you're looking at, but there's Bretons there.
Well, I believe that, but it's just interesting to me that Vardenfell is literally diagonally exactly opposite of where they were talking about the chapter being. So I want to see how that's going to tie together.
That's probably how we're going to get the Ebonheart Pact involved in this, because they're saying it's supposed to be all Banners and Navy, an Alliance war story.
That's very true.
That's probably going to be our pact tie-in.
That's very true.
That's just going to be my guess. That's my prediction.
All right, Gwen. Okay, I see what you're. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I like that. I like that.
Now it's all dirty though. She put it down and you picked it back up. Don't eat that.
I don't. It's just the heels.
Hey, this is a clean floor in this snug pod. Newsy does a great job.
If Gwen throws it down, I will synergize with it because that will keep me alive.
Good point. She is the healer, so we do have to stand in the things she puts down.
We all know how I love to stand in the AoE, so.
But never the Healy ones, anyway.
Okay.
Why are you running around on the other side of the thing?
Got the zoomies, sorry.
Alright, anything else on that? I mean, that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, no,
one thing I saw in the article, though, is that they did not... So the Halls of Fabrication, the whole story and zone is included, but the Warden class is not.
Oh, yes.
Right, yeah.
So...
Yeah, they separated that, which is how they do every chapter once the next chapter is being released. Whatever other thing came along, they generally separate it, make it a separate purchase. Because each new edition that comes out, if you buy that edition, includes the previous chapter.
Yeah.
So they make the whatever bonus, new class or new skill line or whatever, they make that a separate thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've kind of already touched on this, but we'll go into one more detail here. ESO is the Jubilee. We said the Jubilee event started, and ESO is celebrating how many years now?
8.
8 years. That is a long time for people to play a single game. I know that there are MMOs that have been around longer that people have been playing. I don't care. It's still a long time to be playing a single game.
It's a long time to be doing anything.
I would say people have been playing Skyrim even longer.
Well, this is true.
And I still haven't finished.
Yeah.
Me either.
I mean, do
Same.
you ever finish Skyrim? You just start
I
another
thought I
character.
did, and then they dropped 2 DLC for it.
Yeah. But I was referring to ESO. I still haven't finished.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm nowhere near done. I have tons of stuff I haven't done. But yeah, I mean, 8 years, and still going strong. And you know, we've talked before just about so many of the things that have changed. Different, you know, going from oh gosh, it's CP now. What veteran ranks to champion points, and then the complete overhaul of the champion point system, and now the hybridization of skills and classes and sets, and just, you know, we're soon supposed to be getting the 2-person mounts and a card game, you know, which we'll touch on that a little more in a minute too, or in a bit. But just so many things have changed over the course of 8 years of this game, and if this game's around 8 more years, what's it gonna look like?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'll reach CP 3000, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Maybe I still will never catch up to the other people in the Snugpod.
never.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, you know, since it's the 8th celebration, we've got the Jubilee event, like we've said, and there is a whole bunch of new things we've gotten with this event. So, somebody want to go over some of that? I'm talking a lot, so I'm going to let somebody else talk.
Doesn't matter. I can do it, or somebody else can do it.
Someone else.
Do it, Katie, do it.
Okay. Perfect. So, for the
Bert.
Jubilee, Bert. Just in case you're wondering, that means be right there. So, for the event, we have the Aurora Firepot spider pet, which, just in case you were wondering, don't worry. If you have not started the event yet, I guarantee you will be able to collect all of these pieces before the end.
Listen. I still only have the rear legs.
Okay,
And
well,
I've been doing my thing.
Pretty
I just
sure
have
that
sucky RNG.
I'm pretty sure that all of us can give you like 4 of
Oh
these.
yeah.
ones.
Yeah, we got you covered.
It
Or a
looks so
dozen.
cool though. It glows green, right? In the picture,
Yeah.
it glows green.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool looking in game actually. But the big thing amongst the community is that apparently the drop rate is like 10-1 for these pieces of this pet if you do Writs. The other thing too is this is one of the first times, or maybe the first time I think that we've ever had it where you get the pieces to combine, but you can't just combine them once you have all of the pieces. You have to go to the impresario and buy instructions
That's probably
on
why
how
we're getting so many.
to combine them.
I'm still struggling to make that pig from the Jesters Festival.
Yeah, me too. And that was something that the community was kind of up in arms about this last time, because Jester's Festival seemed a little bit shorter. It was very kind of like last minute, like, hey, it's starting in a few days, and then, oh, by the way, it's done now. And
That
people were
was the joke.
complaining. Yeah, people, there you go. That was the joke. Dun-dun-ch. But people were complaining that they didn't have time to get pieces of that Sovereign Sow pet. And now it seems like this event has gone the opposite direction, and you just get all of these pieces of these spider legs, and front legs, rear legs, firepot fragments, all of that stuff. But just so you know, that is a difference kind of than previous years with pets. You have to get the pieces, and then you go to the impresario and you get the instructions, and it will combine them all together.
And after the event is over, if you don't have enough tickets to get the instructions for some reason, or you want to spend your tickets on something else, the impresario's assistant will have the instructions available for tickets after the event and going forward.
Oh, I did not know that. Thank you. I missed that.
I read
part
the
apparently.
article.
You did. You obviously read it better than I did. The other thing too is for this event, we have 2 fragments now for the Aurelic Quasigriff mount. I really like this guy. I think he looks pretty cool. He's kind of like a goldish, metallic looking, I would say, Quasigriff. Which is different than the very dark Quasigriff that we had
Which
last
is the
year.
superior squirrel, Griff.
Oh. But yeah, so you can get 2 of the fragments for that instead of, a lot of people were trying to figure out why they couldn't build all 3 pieces, but it's because that 3rd piece is going to come up later in the next quarter when they do other events.
Yeah, and you should have plenty of tickets to get those 2 and then be ready to buy the next one. So
Yeah, especially if 39 tickets are coming by the end of the event.
Right.
You should be able to do that. And the drop rates on stuff have been, I would say, decent for like the armor pieces and stuff that they've got right now for this Jubilee. So because of that, hopefully you won't have to use too many tickets on that, and you can put them towards the mount if you want it. I always start off, and if I have enough tickets, buy that right away, and then that way I can just use whatever tickets I get for the event, for whatever else I want. And that helps me kind of keep track of it, because I know, okay, well, I've already got that piece, so now I can do whatever, and just build up and make sure I have 12 before the end of the event, for the next time to start stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about the XP buff for the Jubilee cake. You eat the cake once a day, you get your 3 tickets, and you get an XP buff, which will help you throughout the event. Really, really nice, because again, it's stackable with your 150% XP scrolls that you got for the month, or any of the other ones that you have, 100s, 50s, things like that.
And training gear.
And training gear, yep, all of that stacks. And as Gwen mentioned earlier, it runs from Thursday, April 7th, so a few days ago, because it is Sunday now, until Tuesday, April 19th. So you have a decent amount of time to get all of this stuff done and to get rich doing writs.
Yeah. What is it? 5,100 gold for all 7 of those?
Yeah, I think if you've got your stats like maxed out on everything. Yeah.
I don't think it affects it. I think you get the same amount no matter what.
The level of your character affects how much gold you get.
Does it?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well, okay. I
knew
stand
something
corrected.
did.
Or sit, whatever. I was thinking that even on my... Oh, wait, your character's level and not your crafting skills?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense, because all my characters are all CP levels, so that would be why. So
Yeah.
I guess that's the max, the 5.1k. So, yeah, if you... This event is running how many days? 13 days? So if you do even just one character, you've got 5 times 13, 65,000 gold-ish, roughly. So
I was wondering how I got like 40,000 gold in my account.
yeah,
I never have gold.
it adds up quick, and if you've got multiple characters, like I said, I've got 9 characters. I'm trying to get those writs done, every day. So, you figure that's 40,000 a day, just from doing writs. 30 minutes or so across all those characters, and then banking all those reward boxes, getting all the motifs, and you get gold crafting materials. I think I've even got some chromium grains, tons of stuff, and transmute crystals. Getting quite a few transmute crystals from it. Yeah, so a lot to be gained from doing those.
One other quick thing really quick before we move on that I wanted to mention is the dailies. We've been talking about, you can do any daily. It breaks it down for you in the actual article on Elder Scrolls Online. It says, the daily quests included for this event are daily crafting writs, daily delve and world boss quests. Those are so easy to stack boxes up on, because almost everybody in Zone Chat is like, hey, need to do this world boss, we'll share quest. So you can pick it up yourself and then also pick it up from somebody else if they share the questing group with you.
As long as it's a different world boss. Because if it's
Yes.
the same one, it won't let you take it.
Yeah. Daily Alliance War and Battleground quests also count. Daily Dungeons and Trials quests also count. And daily Heists and Sacrament quests count. So all of those things will net you Anniversary Jubilee gift boxes. The other thing, too, that we haven't really spoken about, but it makes sense why people do the writs a lot for this event, is because you can also get rare crafting materials out of the boxes. And transmutes. I've gotten a couple boxes with transmutes. Have you all gotten some of those yet?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best, because I'm always so, I'd never have transmutes. And then they have the new Saberkeel armor style, too. One thing to note is if you do get one armor style page already on the day that you're playing, the second time it would drop that, it would give you an Aurora Firepot spider fragment, which is why so many people have a ton of those. So, excuse me there. So that's why you'll end up with a lot of spider pieces sometimes. Yeah. There you go.
All right, so yeah. So the next thing we've got is a High chapter preview coming Friday.
Yup.
Yes.
Super excited for this one.
Thursday.
Yep,
Is it
Thursday,
Thursday?
April 14th at 4 p.m.
Oh.
EDT.
That's funny. It says Thursday, but then the headline says Friday. I was set up.
Whatever, it's April 14th.
Yeah, I wasn't reading ahead. I was reading the headline. So, all right. So,
I'm typing notes to him in the chat.
yeah. Let's get that pulled up there. Nice little article here. So we've got the High Isle discussion Thursday, April 14th at 4 EDT on twitch.tv/Bethesda. Rich Lambert, CJ Greb, Taylor Sear. They're going to be discussing the next year-long adventure, spoiler-free, and share some High Isle gameplay. That is not the thing I'm most interested in seeing. If I probably won't even get to watch this live.
Card game!
Yes.
Card game, card game, card game.
But so what all are they going to show before we get to that? Let's see. Inside look at the approach to developing High Isle and talk about the inspirations when it came to designing the new world and saga. Inside look at what makes the Breton people and the story so unique, and what kind of adventures you can expect to find within the Sistris Archipelago.
Yep.
Close enough.
Close enough. Words. So I've noticed I've in other guild chats and discords, I've noticed that there seems to be quite a few people that just think the Bretons are kind of boring.
I
Well, they are.
Their minds blown.
They think that they're...
Well, they are until we actually had our... when was that? Was that episode 1 where we talked about the Bretons? Because that blew my mind, learning about them. I honestly thought they were the most boring race ever until I had to research them. And then I changed my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I did see in one discussion... where someone said that they thought the same thing about several races until they got their own chapter. They thought the orcs were boring until we got, was that Hrothgar, yeah.
Listen, orcs are always cool. I don't care what universe you're in.
Well, they were saying that once they actually got to learn about them, by playing through some content kind of focused around them, they thought they were awesome. So they're kind of hoping that the same thing will happen with the Bretons. That once they get their, get to go through a story and learn more about them in game versus having to go and just read a bunch of stuff, being able
Walking
to kind of
in someone's shoes.
Yeah. So yeah, it is going to be interesting to see. But go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm already intrigued just by the new artwork that they released in this article. So I have it open now so I could see it bigger because I thought I saw something, which I did indeed see now that it's bigger. When you open up that artwork, first of all, looking at the landscape that the characters are walking on is really neat because it's more foresty than I thought, kind of. Like it looks like they're coming up the side of a hill that's kind of in a cove area. And there's all these waterfalls and all sorts of rock outcroppings and things like that. But there's a lot of trees on them. And the horse, all these guys have like different knight armor on. And guys and girls, actually, I can say. Male and female characters. But they have like the Alliance, the horses that were the Alliance War horses, and it has a DC horse.
And a
but
dog.
I feel like... Yeah, and a dog, like a retriever of some sort. Which is funny because when I first looked at the retriever, I thought it was on a leash because of the horse bridle. It makes it look like it's on a leash, but it's absolutely not. It's just walking next to the horses. But the armor and stuff that's depicted in this picture is really cool because each of it has its own kind of individual flair. Some of the styles are familiar and I think are just like the standard Breton styles that we already have in game, but I still think just seeing these characters walking up a hill on horseback, a couple of them have swords sheathed, 2 of them have swords drawn, a couple of them are on horses. It just, with the walled city behind, it feels really cool looking at the picture.
Yeah.
And the ship in the background too. I'm very excited to see how intimate but also grand that cove area feels, because it seems like in a lot of the shots that we've seen, or in this artwork in particular, it very much has that like mysterious, like you sail a ship into a cove and then there's this huge city or, you know, island city within it that seems completely cut off from everything else. So it gives that feeling of that. I'm excited to see the gameplay.
I also forgot to mention with the live stream, if you tune in and you have your account linked, you can read the article, and it's got a link to where to go to link your article. Where to go to link? Yes, links. Lots of links. This is not Zelda. So in the article, it has links to where to go to link your account with Twitch, so that if you watch the stream, you can get the new crown crates and a purple torch bug. So make sure, if you're going to be available to watch that live, that you have your account linked so that you get those things. And as we said, they're also going to be showing off the new card game. What is that called? Tales of Tribute?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to be showing gameplay, strategies. What else? What else did they say?
That they're going to actually play a game in the after show. They're going to play through a game and answer all of your questions and everything for the after show.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing that. I've been curious to, a lot of stuff about this card game, but no real details on how it plays or anything. So definitely looking forward to seeing that.
Yes.
And somebody called us out for not talking about this, but apparently this is going to be kind of like ESO Gwent. So I know in Gwent it's about what?
What?
I said Gwent.
Ah.
There was a T there. In the game Gwent from The Witcher, the purpose of that game, where a lot of card games have you attack players and try to get their health down, get their health points, hit points, whatever. But the point of Gwent is to actually get the highest score through just playing the highest number of cards, basically. I mean, there's more to it than that. This game is supposed to be a resource building game, right? Isn't that how they kind of described it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it very well could play in a similar fashion to Gwent. So I'm excited. I'm definitely. I may not be able to watch this live just because I work all day on Thursdays, so I don't get to tune into that kind of stuff. But this is definitely something that I'm going to go back and watch once I'm off and can check out the replay.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of post shows too with this, which is great because for anybody that's listening that might speak a secondary language, there's going to be different ones from all of the community managers all around the globe. And usually you can get, if you're a drop junkie, kind of like I am on Twitch, for crates, a lot of times you can end up getting other crates if you watch some of the other recaps, if it's a different day or things like that. I'm not exactly sure how the crate drop is going to work this time around, but you'll be able to see on Twitch.
That's true, because sometimes it only counts towards one post show. Mm-hmm. That has been a thing in the past as well.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if they will have it for just one post show, or if you can tune into multiples, depending on if it's the following day or anything like that, because of the time zones, because there are some that will roll over into the next day, so you may be able to get a secondary drop on those. I'm not quite sure, they haven't said, but they are I don't know if we said this yet or not, but when you link your accounts, like Never mentioned earlier, you'll get a crown crate from watching this, but also the purple torchbug pet. If you don't have that from previous drops, you'll be able to pick it up on this watch on the High Isle preview. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you can run around with the torchbug and annoy me because I'm trying to catch it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even count the number of times I've been like, oh, I'm going to grab that thing, get those insect parts.
Yep.
Yep. We've all done it.
Sorry.
For anybody wondering why there's just random laughing going on, we'll just let you keep wondering. So, all right. So I think that covers that as far as the High Isle preview goes. Does anybody have anything else on that?
No, because I'll probably repeat you.
All right. So the last thing we have, the last couple of shows we've gone through their developer deep dive, and discussing how they design their bosses and or encounters as they refer to it, and they've got the third and final article on that released now. So this article is titled Developer Deep Dive Designing Tamriel's Bosses Part 3 Mechanics and Power. I think this one was a little shorter, maybe.
But the picture at the top is terrifying.
Yeah.
Stone Garden. That's how you feel in hard mode. That's what that picture is.
Is it Castle Thorn?
Oh, that's what I meant. Castle Thorn. See? Okay, guys. Goodbye. Have a great night. I'm going to go ahead and just see myself out here.
Well, it was nice having you with us.
The coffee that I drank apparently has done me no good today.
You must have switched to decaf.
I guess so. It wasn't rot meth.
I hope not. I don't think that settles well on human tummies.
Well, I'm a wood elf, so.
So, the first question here is, when designing a new boss, how do you balance complex mechanics and power? You've got an answer by Mike and then Shane. They said they start out with the numbers, depending on what kind of attack it's going to be, and how hard it's going to hit, if it's going to be blockable or not, and how they intend the attack to work. They start with baseline numbers, right? And then from there, they balance through playtesting. They've got however many playtesters that will go through and just test it out, see if it feels like things are hitting too hard enough. I said one designer might design a boss fight that hits too hard right out of the gate, where another designer is opposite and their attacks are going to barely tickle you. So even in ESO, the bosses have tickle fingers at some point. I just find that kind of amusing that they worded it that way. I'm just picturing them going, "Oh, that tickles," and the boss is running around with. Anyway, so they say fixing all of that just comes from playtesting and fine tuning. And then there's the question about how many possible things you can be hit with at once, or whether an attack is going to hit different targets in the team. So if they want the ability to threaten a tank who has a lot of health and a lot of resistance, then there's a good chance that is going to one-shot anybody else. Where on the flip side of that, if it's designed to challenge a damage dealer who's more squishy, the tank's probably just going to shrug it off. And there are a lot of those kind of attacks where a tank can stand right in the middle of flames and everything else, as long as there's a healer keeping heals down, or they've got their own self heals, or however they're mitigating that. But a damage dealer stands in that for half a second and they're gone. Somebody want to read over, kind of touch on what Shane's talking about?
We're all jumping at the chance.
Ready?
Sure.
Go.
Sure. He basically says, as they're playing the encounters, they often identify an ability that needs more work, and then they'll end up kind of clearing a path for it. So basically, if they have a big ability that's important, they want to highlight it, so then they'll tune the fight and say, like, okay, let's get rid of this for now, let's focus on this one important mechanic, that way there's not too much going on, and then when the moment is over and they're done tuning everything, then they go back and work on the rest. So that's a situation where they may want 5 things to happen, but they take 4 of them away initially so that they can work on the fight, and then they end up, going back and adding 2 or 3 more of those things in later.
All right, so talk to me about the role that QA plays. When do they come in, and how do they help you improve the boss? Sasquatch, would you like to be our resident Shane?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they're saying how integral the QA is, and then just kind of talking about the role they play and at the different phases, where they're testing out bugs as well as difficulty and how the fight flows. But he's saying they're integral, and we try to get them into test builds so the encounters early in the process, so they can help us go down the right path. In mid-cycle, they get in there, start testing with an eye on bugs and other problems. It's monumentally important to the integrity of the fight. Make sure there's no exploits, and make sure the numbers are right and that the abilities are firing at appropriate time. So, kind of cool just to hear like all the different things that they're testing. It's not just looking for bugs or difficulty, but looking for exploits and the balance and the whole encounter, how that goes.
Yeah, can you think of any exploits for boss encounters in this game? I can't. I'm sure there have been some, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't think of any. Which, as I was reading it, I was thinking about that, and I was like, yeah, I can't think of any exploits.
Well, they must be doing a pretty good job. I'll give you an example from another game. In the original Destiny, there was a strike that the boss in the final room, there was a chandelier you could get up on top of, and there was a sniper rifle that regenerated ammo. So you didn't have to worry about chasing ammo. It would take a while to do it, but you could get up there and you could get positioned just right where you could just snipe the guy in the head over and over again, and he couldn't hit you. And if you ever moved where he could hit you, you just back off a little bit, and then you were in absolutely.
I would call that exploiting. I call that utilizing mechanics given.
Well, yeah, it might not technically be an exploit, but it's essentially just breaking the fight. There's no. I mean, you're just going around, what is intended in the encounter. And while it makes it easier, it's really kind of not fun. And I can't think of any times that I've seen anything like that in ESO where there's like a spot that you can stand that just keeps you safe from an AoE only boss, or where you can just keep pelting them from range and they just can't hit you, or anything like that. I'm not saying they haven't been there. I'm definitely not the most experienced or anything like that, but I can't recall anything that I've ever seen like that, or even seen discussions on forums or anything like that.
Yeah, I can't really think of... This one's not really an exploit, but the only thing that I can think of, like, off the top of my head was that one that I told you all about one night when we were in Banished Cells 2. So when you get to that big Daedroth, a long time ago, it used to be that you could, your tank could bring him over to that fire
Oh,
that's
right,
shooting
yeah.
up out of the floor,
Oh, yeah.
and that would assist you in damaging him at the time. Because if the tank just poked him and brought him over there, your DPS could stand on the other side of that wall of flames if they were ranged and just like plink away at him while the tank just stood in the fire when the healer healed them, and it would help whittle them down way faster, and then he wouldn't run all over the room and put fire on the floor. It would just be in that hallway. But again, that's not really necessarily an exploit. It's just something that was figured out, and to be honest, I'm not even sure if it still does it anymore. That was a long time ago, like probably still vet ranks that I figured that out.
Yeah,
So
like we still bring him over to the fire out of habit, but I don't think it does anything anymore.
I'm not sure it does anything anymore. They may have fixed that.
It'd be easy enough to test that. Just bring it over there and don't attack it. See if it takes any damage.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's definitely something we could figure out. We could be play testers. We could be a QA team. We got this.
Yeah.
Give us a call, Zos.
Snugpod QA.
Snugpod
That would-
QA.
That would be interesting. They'd be
This
like,
is
"That girl
broken.
can't
No, you
test
just
it.
suck
She
at it.
Yeah, they can't. That girl's not allowed in here anymore. She keeps standing in the AOE.
Casual playtesters.
The most casual playtesters you've ever seen.
Why is this guy
Accurate
testing?
and player base.
Why is this guy testing tank stuff and he's wearing healer gear?
We're so meta.
And that one's just taking screenshots.
Hey! That's truly why I'm dead a majority of the time.
I didn't even realize I died.
Yeah. Hey, why does my screen look different? Oh, never mind.
So Mike goes on after that and says a lot of times the QA team is seeing content in the roughest state, but they're so used to sitting down and going through stuff, they see past the rough edges and give us feedback on the actual mechanics. It would be neat to be able to play, and I guess to some extent, and they talk about this in a moment, that's kind of what PTS is also. I've never gotten to take part in PTS, but this is even earlier than that, because PTS is at that point it's builds that they're testing the ability of it to just go live. These people are seeing mechanics before they're even fully completed or still being iterated on. It'd be kind of neat to be able to be part of that at some point. And back to you, Shane.
Yeah. I thought this part was cool too, is he was saying that one thing that sometimes QA will actually give him suggestions, and that have actually made it into the dungeons and have made a major shift in the encounter. So I thought that was pretty cool that QA it's actually not just testing it, but actually has input into how the mechanics and encounter plays out.
I want to know which one so bad.
I know. I was kept reading. I was like, no, they didn't give any examples.
I know, that's what I was waiting for. I thought it was going to be under the picture, and there wasn't. It was just the next question. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be cool to know what things have just the QA team said, why don't you try this? And then they go in to do it and go, yep, that's cool, keeping that.
Mm-hmm.
So, just kind of like I just mentioned, next question was, how does the PTS cycle help refine or improve a boss? And basically what they say is, the QA group is, it's almost like they're too good at their job. But the QA group is still a smaller group of people, right? And when you've got a game of this size, a lot of things don't really show up until 15 million people have seen it. So that's why even once stuff goes live, sometimes we still find things that weren't quite right. But they say, we don't necessarily see stuff that's too hard, or because they're so close to it, they may think a mechanic is messaged, and I have to admit, when I read this, I thought it said massaged. And I was like, a mechanic is massaged correctly.
Massage the
yeah,
mechanic, soften it up for
yeah.
everyone.
So, but they say, we think a mechanic is messaged correctly when it's not, and they don't know for sure until the public sees it. People that are QA and maybe that's their job. They're so used to what is going on that they pick up on things because they know what to look for. They kind of already probably have their mind around sort of what developers are doing. So they say, it's not until it hits the public space that you can see something didn't quite hit, the way that they thought it would. And people can start giving feedback and say, while QA is finding a lot of stuff early, the minute a boss hits PTS, we're going to find a whole slew of new things to fix we just hadn't seen before. It's just more eyes on it. So the more perspectives they get on a boss, the better.
I wonder. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say.
Go for it.
I wonder what mechanics have been completely removed from certain boss encounters because of that very thing. Like, I wonder if there have ever been, well, obviously there have been because they just mentioned it, but if there are boss mechanics that they're like, yeah, they're gonna get that, and then it's just so out of left field that even the QA team is like, what? What is this? And then they remove it altogether. I wonder how much of a setback that is for them. Like, do they have a plan A, B, and C, and then when it goes to QA and they're like, that doesn't work, they're like, well, time for plan B? Or is it like, hope this works, and then we'll figure it out if it doesn't after? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder if they go into it kind of ready with an A, B, and C, or if it's just, okay, no, we'll figure it out if something's wrong later.
Yeah, I think they get most of that worked out before it goes to PTS, kind of, figuring out whether or not it's feasible to do certain mechanics. I remember, it was one of the live streams they did a while ago, and I think they were referencing like the grapple, the grappling bow, and how that was something someone had the idea and they did a whole bunch of work on just figuring out if it would be possible to do it, to actually do that, and then they figured it out. And then I think that one, there was even a bunch of glitches with it and bugs on PTS still. So like, they'd figured out they could do it, but they were still working out the making it function properly.
You know what else I wonder, just talking about this, is how many times they, like, with the mechanics, do they start at, because the normal mechanics and the vet mechanics and the hard mode mechanics are all different sometimes, or not different, but like there's an added layer.
Right.
So I wonder if they hand them like hard mode, they're like, here you go, and then they're like, well, that was great, but I would get rid of X. And then they're like, okay, well, let's make that vet instead, or do they go the other way? Like, well, that was too easy. Okay, well, what if we added pools of lightning all around the room? Okay, that would be pretty good, probably, if it was like that. Well, what if we added pools of lightning and then, a tornado of death and an AoE attack, and you know what I'm saying? Like, how...
Design a dungeon dartboard.
Yeah, exactly. Is it like let's put 5 abilities in a hat and you get splash lightning now? I know it's not that way, but I would love to see that process, because I'm sure it's like they've mentioned, it is different depending on who the QA group is or who actually designed the dungeon, what they hand them first. But I do wonder, like, does someone just roll in and be like, hey, this is vet, and then later on they say, okay, now it's normal, or now it's hard mode? Or do they just give them, like, a base, and then the other portions of the team choose, what level it is? Or what it becomes, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. where they start. Do they start at the normal or hard mode and work their
Which
way
way
in
do
either
they work?
direction? Yeah.
Do all of the dungeons launch with all of the hard modes and stuff in them already, right? Okay. I know, I think Destiny 2 possibly started doing hard modes of their raids and things, but they would always launch like a few weeks or so after the original launch. Hard modes weren't activated from within the dungeon the same way, and from within the raid like they are in this game. But so yeah, I don't know. That would be an interesting question to ask. So if Mike or Shane or someone else would like to come on sometime and talk with us, we can ask that question. So if you're listening and you want that to be a thing, blow up their inboxes. You didn't hear that here.
He said it, not me.
Okay, I said it. So the next question, aside from bug fixes, do you continue to iterate on a boss after it is live? Did you guys read the answer to that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good answer. Just to kind of summarize that they don't ever want it to be a thing where once something goes live, they completely change the way a fight works, because you get someone that goes into the dungeon one time, gets through it, and thinks, okay, cool, I'm gonna farm that dungeon next week when I get back from vacation, and then they come back and they go back in. It's like, this is not at all what I did last time. I don't know what's going on. They don't ever want it to feel like it's a different thing altogether. They said if they find any abilities that can be exploited or anything like that within the fight, they'll fix that, which inherently will make things harder because you found a way to get around a certain thing or whatever. And so by fixing that, it'll by default make the fight more challenging. So they have to kind of adjust something else to accommodate for that. But they don't ever want it to be a case where you're able to get through a fight through an exploit, but rather just from fairly going through the mechanics, or just being a good enough team that can just go in and burn the boss down, whatever. But I thought that was a good way to answer that.
Yep.
Something else that was mentioned earlier in the article too that I'm sure they say it makes an absolute difference, is the fact that there's so many gamers who are doing what we're doing right now. They're streaming, they're on Twitch, they're on YouTube, they're doing all of those things, and so they're doing it when the PTS hits, which is different than some other processes in the past for other games. It's gamers who are going onto the PTS and they're doing the testing live with other people around the world watching. So it's cool because you get to see the first impression of the person who's playing the game, but also you're viewing their chat window and you're viewing all the other people that are watching the game too, who are maybe not as proficient as the streamer. So say that one of those devs is in the chat watching somebody else play PTS, they're going to be getting a lot of feedback from not only the person who's playing the game, but also the chat that's watching.
Right.
Because if somebody in the chat is like, wow, this is really intimidating, I don't think I would ever go in there, that's something that they as developers need to take into account. If a boss or a dungeon looks too menacing for a casual player, they may never set foot in there. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that's something that they take into account. And I have actually seen Finn in, like, Madigan, for example, is a great person to use as an example for this, because he's very family friendly. He goes in, on the PTS and will run some of this content, and you'll find, like Rich or Finn or I don't know if Shane's been in his chat before, but you'll see them pop in and say like, hey, are you enjoying it? How's the PTS going? And Maddie is part of the stream team, so that makes sense. But, I'm sure they do that with other people too. So it's a cool thing.
Yeah, and you talk about being intimidated by something. You know, the other possibilities too is people just being completely lost. What did you just do?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I have no idea what just happened. You know, you start hearing too many people asking those kind of questions. It's yeah, something to take into account for sure.
Yeah.
And
Good stuff. Good articles.
Yeah, those have been good reads, just to kind of get a little insight into what's going on, kind of behind the scenes. So, yeah, that was the last article we had. Do you guys have anything else you want to discuss before we close out?
Sorry, I'm typing something in the show notes right now. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, look, oh man, I'm making a mess here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Well, while you're doing that,
getting worse.
I'll buy you a moment. So I am in the process of reaching out to some, so far I've started with one, but I'm reaching out to some other folks, looking at trying to get some guests on with some different specialties, so to say. So hopefully in coming weeks we'll have some things that I think will be good community growth kind of deals, just to get some perspectives from other guild officers, GMs from different types of guilds, and for people that don't know how some of that kind of thing works and how to be involved in the community and the different things that you can get involved with, different types of guilds. And so we're going to try to look for some different folks, from different types of guilds to bring in, and I won't say too much more about it, but that is something to look forward to. If you have suggestions, you can hit us with those in socials, and we'll get that information out shortly. Did you finish what you were wanting to get in there?
I did. I don't know everybody's answers, but I did.
We'll go with yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that works.
Gwen, are you in agreement? We lost her.
Did we lose the
Gwen's
bard?
No, I'm here. I was muted. I did not expect you to add anything to the show notes.
I'm sorry. It was just because I realized we didn't talk about something, so I didn't know if I want to just mention it, and then we'll give specifics later. Because we didn't do it last week because we wanted all of us to be together. So we're thinking yes?
We'll go with yes.
All right. Yes. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Right.
Yeah. So we're in Gwen's lovely Snugpod right now. But if you are in our guild on PlayStation, we are actually going to have a Decorate Your Snugpod contest, and our prize has been donated by the wonderful Caddy Jax. She is a PlayStation and PC member. She has a green torch bug to give away on PlayStation. So I think once we solidify dates, it'll hopefully probably be a couple weeks that we'll give people to get set up and decorate their Snugpod and all of that stuff. And then I think we'll probably do it either by housing tour or screenshots that guildies can vote on. But we are basically going to be having a housing contest to decorate your Snugpod however you want. And the prize for the best or the most voted upon Snugpod will be the green torchbug pet. So that's really, really exciting.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing for Caddy to give us to be able to give that out. And Caddy, for those that weren't around in Lore Seeker early days, was actually the OG GM for like a few hours. She got on and secured the name for our guild just to make sure that it wasn't going to be something that there's a Lore Seeker podcast, let's go make that guild. And get the name stolen. So she secured the name for us, and then handed that over. And she was a co-GM and an officer for a long time before moving on to PC, where those lovely red names take all our people.
Doesn't she also play on Xbox now too?
She sure does.
She is the uniter. She does all three.
She has the trifecta.
Yeah, that's an achievement.
And she plays on EU on them too, so she has the trifecta achievement, like no death hard mode speedrun.
For consoles,
for consoles and PC. Yeah. So she's the trifecta, the glue of the Lore Seekers Guild, if you will, and she has given us a green torch bug for a prize. So
yeah,
she also
awesome.
If you are in our guild, she's still on our guild roster, and you can go and see the original tavern as well from the Lore Seekers.
You can.
podcast.
It's really cool. Highly recommend checking it out. It is not a Snugpod, but it is a really cool house.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's no Snugpod. It's very cozy though still, and it is a direct copy of the one that was done with Jibs and Cash on the PC Guild. So, really really cool. So, there you go. So that is our housing contest announcement. We'll have more details in the Discord soon once we solidify some stuff. There is also currently, until next Saturday, a screenshot competition or screenshot contest going on within our Discord as well. The theme was Jesters Festival. There were 3 entries, so if you would love to help us out and you're in the guild, go there and vote on which one you find that you like the best, or vote on all of them. Doesn't matter, you just can't vote more than once.
More than once on multiples, right?
Correct, that's what I meant,
Yes.
yeah.
You can like each photo once.
Yes.
There we go.
So there you go. Any other guild announcements?
I do believe that is all for the moment.
Cool.
I can't think of anything else off the top of my head or the bottom of my feet.
Just event leads. That's the only other thing I can think of. We've
Yes.
said it kind of every week, but if you want to join the guild, if you've got an idea for an event,
Yes.
come on.
We had someone hint at us in Discord that they would love to have something be a regular event, to which I replied with, "We need event leads. Hint, hint."
Well, some people want events, but can't commit that time.
Right.
Yes.
No, I understand completely. I would never pressure anyone outside of the Snugpod.
That's true. He's pressured all of us.
I mean, I got you here, didn't I? But yes, if you are interested in any particular part of the game or activity, pretty much anything, and you have an idea for an event that you would like to see done regularly, let one of us know. If you're in our Discord, we're easy to find there. And if you are not in our guild, well, you can fix that. We are on every platform. EU is kind of up in the air on a few of them, but it is there. So if you're on EU and looking for a guild, that's there too. PlayStation and Xbox, I think, are a little slower. So definitely could use some help getting those going if that's something that you think you would be interested in as well. But if you want to join the guild, all you have to do is head over to loreseekerseso.org, and you will see a big old button on there that says Apply to Guild. You click that, it'll take you into a brief application. It's just a few questions just to basically make sure you're not a terrible person. And if you can pass the test, which hopefully you can, and you're not a terrible person, that application will go through to some of our officers, and usually within the day they've got that taken care of, and we can get you in the guild in game. Outside of that, if you're listening to us in podcast form and you would rather watch us live, because, who wouldn't? You can check us out on twitch.tv/snugpodcast, or you can also just search us on YouTube, and you can follow us on those and get notifications for when we're going live, or If you are watching us and you want to listen because you think, wow, I don't really have time to sit in front of my television or other screen for that long, well, you can get us on all the major podcast places, Google, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called. Spotify's is probably our biggest one at the moment, but we're on several, so that's an option too. Where else can they find us, guys?
You can find us on Twitter at SnugPodcast, and if you want to email us, you can email us at snugpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any ideas for topics or questions, anything like that, you can reach us there, either one of those places.
You can also find me laying dead on the ground in an AoE with Gwen attempting to res my dead body.
I figured it out. You just gotta switch the colors for the red and the green. So the heals are red. And the damage is green, and then you stand in the right ones.
Yeah,
I need to make it an obnoxious color, like hot pink or purple or something.
green means go, like go ahead and get away from it.
Right.
All right. Well, I think that wraps us up for the evening. Anyone else have anything they'd like to say before we go?
Decorate your snug pods if you're on PlayStation.
Yes.
I want to tour them.
Yes. Yeah, we want to come and host a show in someone else's place. We want to come and have dinner at your house. So,
But careful how you say that, because there's 2 wood elves here.
Yeah, don't go full Bosmer.
We're not going to go full Bosmer if you invite us over.
Yeah,
well, kitty
never go full
cats.
Bosmer.
Kitty cats are known to be scavengers, so you never
Okay,
know.
so the Breton's the only person that's going to be allowed in.
I'll bring my own
Yeah,
food.
look what you did, Never. You just kicked us out of most people's snug pods. Thanks.
He's probably got his own fork and knife with him. I don't know.
I don't
I
need
feel
a
like
fork
Brenton's-
and knife. I
I
can
feel
just
like-
stick my claw in it.
No, I was saying I feel like Bretons would bring their own fork and knife.
Oh,
Yeah,
Bretons,
yes.
Yes,
You have the Cadwall
Proper
armor
people.
set. Always carry your
Yeah,
fork
there you
and
go.
knife on you. Yep.
Just
That's true. That's
take your
true.
helmet off and cook your dinner.
Oh my.
Well, all right, everyone. It has been fun as always. Glad we got to have a full crew, and hopefully that might be a more normal thing soon. That might work
hope.
out. Maybe.
We hope.
Anyway, we hope. But thanks for hanging out with us or listening to us, however you may be doing that at this current moment. And we will hopefully see you or hear you or you hear us or something like that again next week. And we hope you have a good one.
Bye.
Goodbye.